Live. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome along to this morning. I'm really excited. I've got quite a few questions today. And so I'm just going to check. I'm just going to say hello in the inbox just to make sure that this is working all right. Yep. So if you're on today, say hi. If you feel comfortable to do whatever you want here, you're welcome just to sit quietly in the background, or you can jump on and say hi. Hi, Shani girl. I'm glad that you could join me this morning. And if you have any questions that you need to know, of course, you can't ask questions right now. You have to wait until you see me tonight. So hi, Bree, lovely to see you. And I really love the questions that you sent me this morning as well. So I appreciate it very much. And so let's get started for today. So the purpose of today is the questions that are asked, things that, hi, Sharon, nice to see you there, is that it's going to provide a step closer to moving forward to what it is that you're wanting. And it could be things that have been going on in the background for you for a while, or there's something new that you want to bring into your life, and it's just it's a new inspired idea, but you're not quite sure. So my belief around all of this, I'll just fix up my hair there. Looks like I just jumped out of bed, but I haven't. I've been trying to fix my hair up. My belief is around this is that those questions that you're asking yourself is you already have had the answers to, yet we can get in, just like how I would receive all my answers, but because of all the stuff we've got around that particular area, we can either not hear it, or we can hear it and not trust ourselves, or it all gets a bit hard because of the stuff that's in the way. So sometimes hearing it from either another person or in something that you're reading, it will come back to you and your answer will jump right up in front of your eyes and you go, aha, I got it. So today really is the purpose so that you can have reaffirmed what it is that you most likely already know. Okay, and I want to say thank you to everyone that did send in the questions. All of you that are online right now, and those that are just listening in the background too, is probably know me and know that I've been in this work for a long, long time. However, not delivering it on this level and in this way. So it's a bit of an adventure for me. And I was really, before I do get started on the questions today, when we've got something new, we're excited initially. This is usually how it plays out, not all the time, but I'm just generalizing here, is it starts off as a great idea. It feels fresh. It has you feel expanded and alive. And that's where we know that we're really meant to follow through on that next thing with it. Then what can happen is, because we're not used to actually living our life that way, is we can do things that either bring our energy down, or suddenly it's like that idea that we had that made us feel so alive is suddenly feeling impossible and heavy and wrong. And then we buy into that and we sell ourselves that idea because it's more comfortable. Now, I'll give you an example of this morning. As I was really nervous because this is new for me, and even though I've been tuning into energy for a long time, I'm not used to doing it in this way, and I'm not used to answering these types of questions on the spot. So my ego's invested in this as well, that it's a good outcome, not just for me but for you as well. And so today, to give you, this is where the self-sabotage comes in. So today I woke up and I was like, okay, what day is it today? It's Tuesday. That's the day that I give a reading. I better get up now and start to organize my morning around that. And I had a thought, so I was ready. I was getting ready, and I had a thought about, yeah, this is going to be good. And the next minute I trip over something. I actually roll my ankle, and then I smash myself trying to hold myself up in the mirror. So that was the first thing. And I was like, great, yes, you can do this, Jaxin. It's going to be okay. And so I carried on and continued to get ready. The next thing I did was I burnt my breakfast. I could smell, writing notes and wanting to be super prepared for my intro to make it sound all lovely and professional, like I wasn't nervous, and then I could smell smoke, and so had to go and put out that little fire in the kitchen. And then so I was thinking to myself, oh great, this is so cool that these things are happening this morning. And then the third thing is that just before I sat down, I thought I better test just to make sure the lighting's okay. And then I knocked my coffee, not all of it over, but I've just got a big towel here soaking everything up. So now this is the stuff that can happen that gets in our way, that we go, maybe that's not the right thing for me. Maybe I'm not, the answer that I'm getting for myself is not correct. And that in itself could knock somebody out of the game. However, it won't take me away from what I'm doing. I am very committed to the work that I do. And initially that resonated with me. And so I will continue to do so until, regardless of what gets in the way of how cruddy I sound sometimes, or how unclear some of my answers may be, I just know that this is the pathway I'm meant to be on. So I encourage everyone who knows their answers but hasn't quite gone, it just need to go, right, no matter what, I'm actually going to follow that one through. Because so this is all about coming home to ourselves and getting some affirmation from what you hear today with what resonates with you, but then taking that on board and going, okay, it resonated for a reason, then, and this is specifically what resonated with me, and I know that to be my truth. And that way you take ownership of your truth the entire journey, and it's not somebody else telling you what to do. So this is never about telling you what to do because I know best. I don't know anything. I'm just interpreting. I'm doing my little bit as part of the messenger, and tuning into what I can interpret as it comes through. So thank you everyone for that. Let's get started today. Now, those questions that come up in the chat box, then I'll take care of those ones because they'll have first priority, and those that have sent to me, because I've got quite a few and my intention is to get through all of them, is I will answer those ones secondly. So I'll just keep having a look to see if there's any new questions there, but let's get started. It's exciting today because there's a whole lot of new questions, like different questions in, and there will be a theme because usually that's what happens. And I like that too, because then at the end we can tie that all together. All right, so the first question of the day is, so take a moment to, actually before we go there, just to sort of announce too, a disclaimer, is that everything that's coming through is for entertainment purposes only. And so just take from it what you see fit. If there's anything serious going on, please seek the correct professional advice and consultation. Okay, so I'd better get that out of the way first. And just take a moment and thank you, Sharon, wanting confirmation. Good, then you're going to get it then. Is close your eyes, take a moment to check in with your breath and your breathing, because as we're well and truly aware, this is how we notice that we're not present. And when we notice that we're not present, by connecting in with our breath and even noticing that, we are then able to see that we are present. And so this is how I connect with the energy, is when I'm doing this particular type of reading, it's like I see a pink line of energy, and it's like, yep, she's connected. We're all ready to go. And so that's the sign that I get that I'm ready to interpret information. And I'm ready, so you must be ready too. So open your hearts of receiving this morning, because we're so good at giving and giving and giving and giving of our energy. And because it can be mixed with those things that are not just based on what's resonating with our heart, it's mixed in with things that we've learned along the way. So it can have a lot of obligation mixed in there. Get ready to receive. We find it harder to receive than we do to give. And then even when it comes to receiving, we can feel bad about receiving, feel guilty about it. So just take a moment to connect in with your breath and open your heart to receiving. And what will come in is perfect for what you're needing to know right now. Okay, first question is, I'm stalling taking, because you may get answers from these questions as well. So it might not just be your question you get answers to. So just listen with listening, a big listening, with your heart open so that you can receive what's necessary today. I'm stalling taking action on 2 new branches to my brand and business. Podcast and organising an event by end of year. Any downloads welcome. Okay, immediately on the first screen of my mind is showing me where it looks like there's sort of a flooded basement, but it's actually representing where there's some cleanup to be done, like it's a flooded basement. And so in the cleanup is, it's actually a revisit to a younger aged self, so a younger version of you. Now, I'll tell you what the cleanup's about, because we're talking about, I'll just get that question up again, 2 new branches to my brand and business, podcast and organising an event. Is the cleanup is a conversation with yourself that is a softer conversation. So the podcast and the event part of what's coming into your business now, to be actually making it realer now and in the future, it's the ongoing, it's where you're really meant to be. It's like if you are able to take everything back and start all over again, you'd start on a speaking platform. So not to discount anything that you've done or the journey that you've taken, because it's been perfect for you. And yet, so the key thing in here is to know that you were always meant to speak. And so you're ready for this next level of communication for yourself. So when I say that, I don't mean that you need more knowledge or anything like that. It's the cleanup here that's really symbolic of something. So I'm just going to go into that as be shown what's there. So it's showing me it's almost like a tough girl from the Bronx, all right? You come near me, you say the wrong thing, you step in front of my face, I'm going to punch your nose off, or something to that effect. So really tough, sort of like having to defend herself, having to look out for herself. And she's streetwise. She knows that stuff goes down and she's ready to handle it. So it's that kind of energy that's there. Now, the thing is, and this is where you will be able to become present to, is I want you to think about this as in 3D experience versus 5D. So there's glimpses of 5D experiences that you've had and that you have more and more and more of as you step into this part of yourself, and not so much in the 3D. So the 3D relates to the physical world, accumulation, possession, having a position over someone, don't trust others because they're going to take something away from me, fear of losing control. That type of energy is very 3D, right? And I know that you know this stuff. So it's the part of you that had to defend yourself, that almost had to fight to have your voice, had to go beyond the BS that was showing up and call it for what it is. And even if you were incorrect at the time, you scrapped it out anyway. It's that type. It's more of a, I've got to do this to survive. And so your voice was more of anger and rage, and don't you dare piss on me because I'm going to shit all over you. It's a bit like that, and excuse my language. So that there is a really hard energy. The fact that you were always meant to speak, and now you're moving into 5D in your work more and more so, is that if we think of the 5D experience, it's one of unconditional love. It's where if we just use the example of money, in 3D, we think about how to make money. In 5D, the money already exists. It becomes abundance. There's unlimited supply. And so this is how you're to look at it as well, that the languaging, it'll be about speaking, and you'll be drawing on those 3D experiences that was hard, but you're coming from a 5D position now, perception, being, and expanding from that. So it's almost like having that conversation so you can go, I acknowledge you, I love you, you've always been there for me. I'm this age now, and this is where I'm at, and my voice means something different to me now, and it's ready to be spoken, so it can impact in a way that helps grow others. So we'll leave that one there. Okay, no questions in there, so I'll keep going on. All right, the next question is, somebody wants to know if they should stay with their partner. When it comes to that, I can see a sunset, not a sunrise, a sunset, and I see the lovers on the park bench. Now, the lovers they're in sort of the shadow, so this all represents the sun going down, right? What's there is a lot of love. They've shared a lot of love between them. However, because there's a shadow of them there, is that there's something else in there to look at. And so in the female, there's sadness, and there's a sadness, and there's sort of like, there's a feeling of loss in a way, like you're not quite able to, there's more, and you're not quite able to bring that in the way that you'd like, given where your relationship is at. On his side, there is actually anger. So his anger looks contained, so it's not actually associated with you and the stuff that you've been through. You've been comfortable with each other in a way because you've been able to be who you are up until this point. Now, the thing is that you look like the willing party, even though he's willing too. It's a different type of willing. You would love it to last. You would love you to work out. The thing is that it looks like that he will need to he's ready for some work to be done inside around this. It's not a question of telling him that or making him do that, but to recognize that inside of yourself that you're ready for that journey, and to embark on that journey regardless, and then have conversations about where you're at in your relationship together. So there is a question mark on your relationship. There is possibility. However, the shadow, the sun's coming down. It feels like you want some more freshness and vitality and creativity and fun. You're ready for some more exploration, and he's got some stuff to deal with. So we're not pointing the finger at anyone. It's just to show where you're both at right now. So I would suggest that this sadness that's also related to grieving on some sort of level and it can be the grief of the loss of this relationship. And there's probably more that I could go into, but that's sort of the theme that's coming through there. But this is about you going, okay, well, what I need for me in order to start to release some of the sadness that is there sitting in front of me right now. And it's actually just keeps you in the space of comfortability, and you're okay with that, but you're ready for more. The next question is am I ready for a man to come into my life? If so, is there anything I need to do or clear to enable it to happen? When do you think it may happen, and where? That's quite a few questions. All right, so let's just tune into that one. What I'm seeing in front of me is it's showing like a country cottage. And the country cottage, you've got your sign up. It's like selling eggs or lemons or something. You got your sign out there and go, okay, I'm ready for a relationship. And you put your sign out. So that can be symbolic of our antennas. As we put it out, we open up to that next experience for ourselves. However, the feeling of the country cottage is not, it's it's outdated. It's not really representative of who you are. So I'm just going to move to the next screen to see what that means so that you can actually get some movement on this. I would actually bring the sign in, okay, because what the request is, just for now, the request is wherever your energy is at right now inside of yourself and your level of loving yourself and who you are, the vitality is not quite there. It's a bit tired, it's a bit jaded, it's a bit exhausted. So you've stuck your sign out. That will attract older energy that you don't need. The older energy, it will actually drag your energy down, and you'll think that that's where you're meant to be. You're not meant to be there, actually. You don't need to attract that. So the request and the energy around this for yourself, and this is to do for you, obviously for yourself, and then what it is that you're asking for because of your energy and because you're feeling in a great space, then you open up to that energy, and because you want engaging conversation. So what it's showing me, it's a bit like you brought your sign in, you're having a spring clean. So to look over these next 6 to 8 weeks, that you're going, okay, what has me feel good about me? Not because of a man, not because I want a relationship, but that gives me some energy. And it could be going on we come up to spring, could be a spring detox. It could be, feels like there needs to be some movement in there. And regardless of any restrictions that are going on out there, those things that you like to do, find ways to do it. Bring some of that light energy into your life, whether you call some friends round, turn some music on, have a bit of a barbecue in the backyard and get those tunes up, so to start to free up this energy, rather than it's almost like sitting in winter and being covered over with the doona and going, hello, would you like to give me a cuddle? It's time to refresh your energy. Now, I do see and it feels like once you've stepped into that and you've lightened up your energy, and then you go, yeah, that would be really cool to be having great conversations with somebody that I'd like to hang out more with, and then stepping into it into a way where it feels like there's a social event. We've got 2 social things, so you need to get more social, girl. And it's like there seems to be good conversations in that, and a connection there. But this is what needs to happen first in order to get to that space. I hope that makes sense for you. Okay, another question we've got is, where are we? Okay, I've just got to swap sides here. I've got texts and emails here. The next one that's come via email. Oh, gone onto my calendar. Great. Okay, I keep thinking of the business idea my wife and I thought of, and even though we're separating, could we see ourselves working together on this project in the future? On this particular project, I would say there's a flat energy. There's a no to that one there. So I see you two, and I get that you're separating. However, I see you skipping into the future, like you're good friends going for a skip along together. So you're skipping along nicely. Now, that's a light-hearted energy, and it's a energy that is fun to be around. So there is, regardless of how things are going on now for you, there's some good stuff that will continue to unfold for the both of you. Now, what I see on the next screen, it's almost like this is actually, you wouldn't consider it a good thing, and there's many ways to actually achieve great relationships. However, this is the way that you're doing it, is that it's almost like I want you to go and grab your surfboard and find that thing, which is similar to the last question before, but it's to reconnect with, you might not even surf, but this is the example, is to go start something as a hobby that just starts off as a hobby, that turns into more of a passion, and then you start to, you heal from that relationship and step more into yourself and continue to do those things that you feel good in, and then you bring something else in that's more of a hobby as well, and then that establishes as a business. So it hasn't arrived into your vision yet what that is. It's like a progressive thing, and it's about you this time rather than the both of you. Now I see this building nicely, and this is where she comes in and you're able to work together, but not together in partnership of this business. This is your business. This is actually working together because of her gifts and talents and be able to add to it in that way. So I hope that answers your question there. All right, my next question is, when will it end? And I'm sure lots of people would love to know the answer to that. And we're talking generally, well, I'm guessing from this, that it is about everything that's going on in the world right now. All right, so let's see. Let's see what we have here for this, the answer to that question. Is okay, so immediately there's a golden stream of light, there's some dark light, and there's another golden stream of light. So it's looking separate. 3 stages that we've got here. On the side here, I've got what looks like the stages of where we're at, where some of us are at and where others are at, etc. And it's showing me sort of like in a circle, and then sort of there's some, it's cutting itself, so it's showing me the levels of those layers. All right, so it's to explain it like this, is there is a, I'll do it as quickly as possible, it's like having a virus yourself. So let's think about that. If you can take that on, I've got a virus, and this is how it usually plays out for me. So in the beginning, you get hit by a truck. It's like, whoa, that came out of nowhere, and suddenly you've been knocked over. Then all your body can do is sleep. It can't do anything else except rest. And then it can open the blinds and maybe have a piece of dry toast and see a little bit of sunlight, but it's still, you're still sore and achy. Then you go where you're feeling quite good, and you're actually starting to have a lot of fluids and a lot of good broths and a lot of fruit and a lot of good stuff in that. And the majority of your focus of getting yourself better is because now you feel like you can take complete ownership of it. Excuse if you can hear the dog in the background. And then you're back at the level of where you are free to go ahead and do whatever it is that you like. Now, it's showing me that because this is where we are in the levels of the stages of where we're at. As a collective whole, we've got those that are just, they've been hit by a truck, but they have no idea why, and they're just knocked over. Then we've got those that are a bit higher in their, where they're at in their experience of life, and they are just in a deep sleep. They have no idea what's going on. We take it to this next level where it looks like the biggest band of the energy is, and that's where, oh no, sorry, let's take it down a level. So we've got this next layer, which is those that are hearing from maybe neighbors, maybe a few friends, maybe they've seen a post on Facebook where they're starting to question, like, okay, maybe there's something more to find out. Maybe there's more going on. Then we've got the main band of energy, which is where people are still sore, but their muscles might be hurting a little bit, but they are understanding. There's more research coming through. They're starting to band together as communities, and also be able to research and trying to connect the dots, but they want to make things happen. So that's the stage of feeding more fluids, more whole foods, feeling healthy enough, strong enough to actually take ownership of that and do something good about it. Then we've got that next level, which we'd call the freedom, the front line, where it doesn't even exist on their timeline. They know exactly what they're doing. They're here to do it, and they will speak freely about it. So where your energy is sitting inside of that is in this place where you know enough and you are doing things, but it's ready to, you're in between the boundary of, this is where I know, but it's calling you forward to that next level so that you can start to speak or stand up for that next level. So this is all about personal responsibility and ownership here, just like you would in your health. So really look at it as this example here. In order, like, it doesn't feel, if you're looking for a date, I can't give you a date, but it's very close. We're looking at the majority is sitting in there where we're banding together. It doesn't, if I'm to go, usually we would talk about the top percent of being 5%. We're now in the, I would say 6% is showing there, and it's showing me a very faint 6 to 7%. So it's not everyone in that section there needs to get up to the top. It's actually you as your own person, and everyone can take this, including myself. What is that next piece that you're ready to take ownership for and lead yourself to full freedom, full health, and longevity? So I'll leave that with you there. It is 11 o'clock. I haven't answered all the questions. However, I am happy to stay on. So if you need to go, I'm really, really thankful that you came today. Thank you for your questions. Welcome to come next week. And if you can hang around, I will continue to answer those few questions because there's only a couple more left. All right, so thank you very much for that. The next question that I've got up here is, okay. And with the questions that I've got, probably looking at another 15 minutes. So hang around if you can. All right, the next one I've got here is I'm feeling more and more passionate about sharing information around toxic-free living, maybe specifically for other pregnant women. Does this feel like something I'll stick with? One of the things that's in the way here is that gets in your way is because this is you want to live your life like this. So the answer is yes. This is actually something that resonates with you a lot and that you are passionate about and that your lifestyle is all about. Now, the thing is, that's the thing to look at today is that what you it's not that as far as the information goes, what's in the way that stops you from really moving into it is that the thing that you love, because you love this area, is the thing that you love. When it comes to things that you love, there's been a time where it's been taken away. So there's a lot of grief and sadness in there that continues to rise in little bits and pieces at different times. And there is a distance between the as if you think you're over it, but you're not. And you'll know what I'm talking about. So the thing is that what you need to be gentle and kind to yourself and loving yourself through this is to actually go to yourself, give yourself 2 years and go, 2 years feels very appropriate for you to go, okay, this is something I'm going to love and care and nourish and nurture for these next 2 years. I'm going to take care of it just like a little baby. And I'm going to give it my attention instead of already foreseeing that it's going to go. It's going to be a flop. It's going to be a failure. It's going to die on me. And by looking at it this way, you're actually going to move into something that you really, really enjoy, and it's going to be very fruitful for you. So I'll leave that there with you. Not sure what to call myself on Instagram, YouTube, my personal name, or I made one up. The short answer here is that to use your name in it, but there should be also something else added in there, not just your name. So yes, you know that I'm Jaxin Brook, but for yourself, what feels more appropriate is something like, if I was to go readings with Jaxin Brook, it would be more specific in that, and people go, okay, she does readings. It's to that name, like, because we're talking, this is a sort of an add-on to the toxic living question, toxic living with and your name. You could do that, and that feels more in alignment with who you are. Okay, next question is, I've got 3 more to go, is, okay, this is my eldest son having opposing views to me right now. He believes what he's being told and has support for this with academic research, etc. And at the moment, he has been worried about my well-being, while in turn, I'm very concerned. I'm now concerned about his well-being. Is he going to be all right health-wise? The answer is yes. He has some issues going on with his health, but they're not related to what you may think, what the whole world's talking about. It's not related to that, but there's other things that he will have to address. It feels more dietary related than anything, but there's nothing to be concerned about. And if anything here, just the energy of this question, you've got, are we going to be able to have a close relationship after all this? The answer is you need to, the encouragement here is for you to come from a place of where we have our children, they grow up in the world and they go and live their own lives. it's to relinquish anything else after that. You've done your bit, and then what's there now is to stand in your own who you are and feel really proud of that. And feel really proud of the job that you did. Feels like there's a bit of less than that, the label that you've put on yourself, that you don't give yourself the acknowledgement for what you have done. It's always about what you haven't done. So take some time today to acknowledge all that you have done. Don't even put anywhere in that the stuff that you haven't, so you can compare. It's to keep building on that list. This is what I have done. This is what I did do. And take yourself through the children when you first had them, and say the first 5 years of their life, to look at all the things that you have done. Now, from that place, it's like, this is about actually, I know we use that term, cutting the apron strings, but this is about opening your heart and keeping that heart door open, so that your kids, no matter what their age, can walk in and out freely. They can be their own person, have their point of views, and it's not like anyone's trying to convince anyone. So the mirror there is for you to do that. Okay, so that's the answer to that one. Will my son, the work role that he's been put in, or is there a move coming up for him? Your son likes stability, and he feels safe there, and so he will go for roles that are more stable than creative. Yet he's very, very creative. So he will wait till he feels like he can't breathe anymore in the box that he's in, and then he will look around for something more creative that's more suited to him. So yes, definitely he'll be moving into something else. It doesn't matter about the time. Like, it's not your concern to know that, to be worried for him. That worry doesn't add to anything. This is more about feeling into the energy of where he's at. And when you feel into that from a heart-centered space, you get that regardless if things look a little bit messed up right now, that it's all going to be okay. And so, you'll feel, if you're called to do anything, that you're meant to step in, make a phone call, go over there, or you'll feel like, yeah, no, he's okay, he's sorting it out. And that way we look at our kids from a parental perspective as their possibility, rather than the small, helpless being that's fraught with the circumstances of life, and the wind will blow one way, that means they're going to get knocked off their feet. We've got to come from this place of possibility, no matter what their age. Check in from a big listening to their possibility. And I say that to all the mothers and fathers who have those worries and concerns over their children. So yes, okay, I just about got it all under time, 7 minutes over. I think I have. If I have missed you out, I'm just going to double check just to see that I haven't missed anyone out. And it doesn't look like I have. I just appreciate you all for coming online today and supporting me with this, and let your friends know, like and subscribe, and I'm going to get more tech savvy and add it on to other channels, but appreciate you so much. Bless, bless, bless. Lots of love. We'll talk soon.